The New Boy is a haunting and visually poetic Australian drama released in 2023, directed by acclaimed filmmaker Warwick Thornton. Set during the 1940s in a remote Catholic orphanage in the Australian outback, the story follows the arrival of a young Aboriginal boy, nameless, wordless, and deeply mysterious, who is brought into the strict religious institution overseen by Sister Eileen, played by Cate Blanchett. After the death of the priest in charge, Sister Eileen assumes unofficial control of the orphanage, trying to maintain religious order while harboring secrets of her own. The arrival of the boy disrupts the daily life of the orphanage. Not only is he visibly different from the others, but he also seems to possess miraculous abilities. He glows in the dark, heals injuries, and evokes a spiritual power that is not Christian, but deeply rooted in indigenous mysticism. As the story unfolds, it becomes clear that The New Boy is not a conventional drama. It doesn't rely on plot-driven twists, but rather immerses the audience in atmosphere, silence, and symbolism. The conflict is both external and internal, between Western religion and Aboriginal spirituality, between suppression and freedom, between colonization and cultural survival. Cate Blanchett gives a restrained yet deeply layered performance as a nun struggling to reconcile her faith with the undeniable, almost divine presence of the boy. Her character embodies both compassion and control, making her a powerful symbol of colonial structures cloaked in religious piety. The boy's spiritual presence forces every character and the audience to question whose God is real and who gets to define what holiness means. Watching this movie is a rewarding experience for those who appreciate contemplative storytelling. It challenges viewers to sit with discomfort, ambiguity, and slow-burning tension. It's not a film of easy answers or feel-good resolutions, but one that poses profound questions about identity, culture, and the consequences of spiritual imposition. Visually, the film is striking. Every frame is carefully composed to reflect both beauty and isolation. The use of natural light, the desolate outback landscape, and the contrast between religious imagery and the boy's ancient quiet power all contribute to a cinematic experience that is deeply immersive. It's a spiritual exploration as much as it is a narrative one, making it an important film in both artistic and cultural terms. By contrast, Lilo and Stitch, particularly the upcoming 2025 live-action adaptation of the 2002 Disney classic, represents a very different kind of film. At its heart, Lilo and Stitch is a heartfelt, comedic, and adventurous tale centered on family, friendship, and acceptance. It tells the story of a young Hawaiian girl named Lilo, who adopts what she thinks is a dog, but is actually a genetically engineered alien named Stitch. Stitch is chaotic, destructive, and initially programmed for evil. But he learns the meaning of love and ohana, family, through Lilo's compassion. The original story mixes sci-fi action with slapstick comedy and emotional storytelling, making it accessible and deeply resonant for children and adults alike. The 2025 version is expected to maintain the original's tone, while bringing modern visual effects and a fresh cultural sensitivity to the forefront. Thematically, Lilo and Stitch is centered on emotional healing, loneliness, and the power of unconditional love. The story is set in modern-day Hawaii, where the lush landscapes, beachside towns, and native traditions form a vibrant, celebratory backdrop. The film does touch on the realities of broken families, child welfare, and cultural pride, but always within the frame of hope and humor. Unlike The New Boy, which presents supernatural abilities as a serious spiritual force, Lilo and Stitch uses science fiction as a playful metaphor for alienation and growth. Stitch learns to care, and Lilo learns she doesn't need to be like everyone else to be worthy of love. The biggest difference between the two films lies in their purpose and emotional impact. The New Boy is an art film, slow-paced, abstract, and designed to provoke introspection about colonization, religion, and the power of indigenous identity. It's a film that will likely appeal to cinephiles, festival-goers, and those interested in post-colonial narratives. It offers an experience that is powerful, sacred, and challenging. On the other hand, Lilo and Stitch is an emotionally uplifting story aimed at families and children with universal themes of acceptance, forgiveness, and belonging. It doesn't seek to unsettle but to comfort. It's imaginative, funny, and emotionally resonant in a very different way, designed to make you smile, cry, and feel connected, without diving into the heavier themes of historical trauma or spiritual conflict. In essence, both films deal with the arrival of an outsider into a tightly controlled environment, but where The New Boy interrogates the spiritual and colonial power dynamics of that environment, Lilo and Stitch uses it as a canvas for heartwarming change and growth. Both are worthwhile for what they offer, but they speak to entirely different cinematic experiences and emotional truths.